I've heard a lot of people say the PS5 never really delivered a major graphical leap. And honestly, some games haven't looked that different. But I've put together 16 games with absolutely insane graphics that you can play right now on your PS5. And the best part? These aren't just pretty tech demos. They're full games that truly push the console to its limits. So without further ado, let's get into the list. Starting our list with Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, one of the most visually impressive games on PS5. From the first few moments, it's clear that this is a true showcase of what the current generation can deliver. The character models feature an incredible level of detail with realistic facial expressions and animations that make every scene feel much more cinematic. But the biggest highlight is the world created by Kojima Productions. The massive landscapes, mountains, forests, and beaches look almost real, especially thanks to the incredible lighting and weather effects that completely change the atmosphere of the game. Death Stranding 2 isn't just a beautiful game, it shows how graphics can make an experience more immersive. It's one of those titles that makes you stop for a moment just to appreciate the world around you. Next up is Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2, a game that proves realism can be one of the most impressive things when it comes to graphics. The biggest highlight here is how alive the medieval world feels. The cities, villages, forests, and fields are packed with incredible details, from the architecture to the smallest elements in the environment that make everything feel more authentic. The characters are also impressive, featuring highly detailed faces, realistic clothing, and animations that make you feel like you're actually living in that time period. On top of that, the lighting, dynamic weather, and changing environments make every location feel unique. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 doesn't rely on fantasy worlds or flashy effects to impress you. It stands out because it looks real. It's one of those games that shows how the PS5 can deliver massive worlds with a level of detail that feels a step ahead of its time. Next up is Resident Evil Requiem, one of the games that stands out the most because of its incredible level of visual realism. Capcom has always been known for creating amazing-looking games, but Requiem seems to take that quality to another level. The characters feature incredibly realistic facial expressions, with impressive details in their faces, skin, and movements that make every scene feel closer to a cinematic experience. But the real highlight is the atmosphere. The lighting, dark environments, reflections, and incredible attention to detail in every location make the game feel even more immersive and terrifying. Every hallway, room, and abandoned area creates a sense of realism that completely increases the tension. Resident Evil Requiem proves that graphics aren't just about looking beautiful, they're about creating an experience that pulls players in. And this is definitely one of the games that pushes PS5 visuals to a whole new level. Continuing our list with Black Myth: Wukong, one of the most visually impressive games of this generation. From the very beginning, it's clear that game science created a stunning world filled with incredible environments, massive creatures, and visual effects that look like they came straight from a tech demo. The forests, ancient temples, and landscapes inspired by Chinese mythology feature amazing art direction, making every area feel like a true work of art. The combat also shows the full visual power of the game, with incredibly smooth animations, impressive particle effects, dynamic lighting, and boss battles that feel like scenes from a fantasy movie. Black Myth: Wukong is the kind of game that makes you stop playing for a moment just to admire the world around you. With its combination of insane graphics, breathtaking environments, and a unique atmosphere, it has become one of the biggest visual showcases available on PS5. Next up is Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, a game that, even years after its release, remains one of the most impressive visual showcases available on PS5. The biggest upgrade in this version comes from ray tracing, which completely transforms the game's lighting. The way light enters environments, reflects off surfaces, and creates more realistic shadows makes the post-apocalyptic world of Metro feel much more alive and immersive. The environments are also incredibly detailed, from abandoned stations to massive open areas, with every location creating a unique feeling of destruction and survival. The atmosphere, weather effects, and character details make the entire experience feel even more realistic. Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition proves that a game doesn't have to be brand new to be impressive. It's still one of the best-looking experiences on PS5, and a perfect example of how technology could completely elevate the visuals of a game. Next up is Alan Wake 2, one of the most impressive games on PS5 when it comes to visual realism. Remedy created an experience that often feels like a mix between a movie and a video game. The characters feature incredible levels of detail with realistic facial expressions, while the environments deliver an insane amount of visual quality, especially during the darker moments. But the biggest highlight of Alan Wake 2 is its lighting. The use of shadows, reflections, fog, and different light sources creates a unique atmosphere, making every location feel more alive and terrifying. Forests, abandoned buildings, and urban areas are filled with details that make the entire world feel much more immersive. Alan Wake 2 is a true showcase of what this generation can achieve. It's not just a game with beautiful graphics, it uses its visuals to create a cinematic experience and one of the most impressive atmospheres you can find on PS5. Continuing our list with Horizon Forbidden West, one of the games that best showcases the visual power of the PS5 in an open world. Guerrilla Games created a massive world with an incredible level of detail, from lush forests full of life to deserts, beaches, and the ruins of a lost civilization. Every area of the map feels carefully designed to impress players. One of the biggest highlights is the machines, featuring amazing designs, incredibly detailed animations, and a massive scale that feels impressive when you face them up close. On top of that, the lighting, water, vegetation, and weather effects make the world feel much more realistic and dynamic. Horizon Forbidden West is the kind of game that makes you stop exploring just to admire the view. It proves that great graphics aren't only about detail, they're about creating a massive, living world that feels unique and unforgettable. Next up is Demon's Souls, one of the first games that truly showed the graphical potential of the PS5 when the new generation arrived. The remake developed by Bluepoint Games completely transformed the classic's visuals, rebuilding every area with an incredible level of detail. Massive castles, ruined landscapes, and dark environments look incredibly realistic, with an art direction that turns every location into a visual masterpiece. The characters, enemies, and especially the bosses feature highly detailed models, with impressive armor, textures, and animations that showcase the power of the console. On top of that, the lighting, particle effects, and dark atmosphere make every battle feel even more cinematic. Even years after its release, Demon's Souls remains one of the biggest graphical showcases on PS5. It's the perfect example of how a great remake can not only honor the original game, but also redefine what a new generation of graphics can look like. Next up is Forza Horizon 5, a game that turns a simple racing experience into a true visual showcase. Playground Games created one of the most impressive open worlds of this generation, with a massive scale and a level of detail that constantly grabs your attention. The cars are recreated with incredible precision, from the reflections on the paint to the smallest details on the bodywork, making some moments look almost like real footage. But the game truly shines when you start exploring the map. The landscapes of Mexico, including beaches, forests, deserts, and volcanoes, look incredible thanks to the lighting, detailed vegetation, and weather effects that completely change the atmosphere. Forza Horizon 5 proves that stunning graphics aren't limited to action or adventure games. It's a true PS5 visual showcase, combining speed, freedom, and a world that feels alive every time you play. Next up is God of War Ragnarok, a game that shows how a massive cinematic production can be transformed into an unforgettable gaming experience. Santa Monica Studio created a world filled with incredible details, massive environments, impressive creatures, and a fantastic art direction. Each realm has its own identity, from frozen landscapes to forests, caves, and locations inspired by Norse mythology. One of the biggest highlights is the characters. Kratos, Atreus, and the rest of the cast feature highly detailed models, realistic facial expressions, and animations that make every conversation and cinematic moment feel much more impactful. On top of that, the combat effects, particles, lighting, and massive battles make the game feel like a Hollywood production. God of War Ragnarok proves that incredible graphics aren't just about looking beautiful, they're about creating unforgettable moments that stay with the player.
In moments of crisis.
Next up is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, a game that feels like it jumped straight out of the movies and onto the PS5. Ubisoft recreated the world of Pandora with an incredible level of detail, creating an open world full of colors, life, and landscapes that look almost real. The massive forests, rivers, mountains, and creatures are filled with impressive visual details, making every new area feel like a discovery. The biggest highlight is the nature itself. The vegetation moves realistically, the lighting completely changes the atmosphere, and the weather effects make the planet feel even more alive. On top of that, the details in the Na'vi, animals, and massive creatures show the incredible amount of work put into this world. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is the kind of game that makes you forget your objective and simply stop to admire the view. It's a true showcase of what the PS5 can deliver with massive, beautiful, and incredibly immersive open worlds. PRAGMATA is one of those games that feels like it came from a generation ahead. Capcom created a sci-fi experience with a visual identity of its own, combining futuristic environments, advanced technology, and incredibly detailed characters. The world is packed with visual details, realistic materials, reflections, and lighting that give almost every location a cinematic look. And it's the little details where the game really stands out. The character expressions, lighting effects, particles, and futuristic environments make PRAGMATA look far more advanced than you might expect. Beyond the graphics, the game also uses its visual style to create a unique atmosphere, moving between exploration, action, and more cinematic moments. PRAGMATA is a great example of how games can still surprise us visually on PS5, especially when developers take a unique artistic direction and really push the hardware. Few games can create a city as visually impressive as Cyberpunk 2077. After its next-gen updates, Night City became one of the biggest graphical showcases available on PS5. The city feels constantly alive, with massive skyscrapers, crowded streets, neon signs, vehicles, and unique districts that make you feel like you're truly stepping into a futuristic dystopian world. The biggest highlight is the lighting. The combination of rain, reflections, colorful lights, and incredible nighttime environments create scenes that look straight out of a science fiction movie. On top of that, the characters feature impressive details, with realistic facial expressions and animations that make every interaction feel more natural. Cyberpunk 2077 is a perfect example of how a game can evolve over time. Today, on PS5, it stands as one of the best-looking experiences of this generation and proves how far open-world games can go when developers push the limits. Few games can make you feel like you're truly inside a city the way Marvel's Spider-Man 2 does. Insomniac Games created one of the most impressive versions of New York ever seen in a game, with a massive city full of detail and life. The buildings, streets, parks, and environments look incredible, especially when you're swinging through skyscrapers at full speed. On top of that, Spider-Man's movement, the animations are incredibly smooth, the combat effects are spectacular, and the feeling of speed while traveling across the city shows the full power of the PS5. On top of that, the reflections, lighting, and character details make every scene feel much more cinematic. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a true showcase of how beautiful and immersive an open-world city can be. It's the kind of game that makes you stop during exploration just to admire the view and appreciate the incredible level of detail created for this generation. If there's one game that feels like a playable Hollywood adventure, it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Machine Games perfectly captured the spirit of the classic movies, creating an experience full of mystery, exploration, and incredible locations. From ancient temples to historic cities, every environment is packed with details that make you feel like you're inside a real Indiana Jones movie. The biggest highlight is the incredible work put into the characters and environments. Indiana Jones features realistic facial expressions, natural animations, and an impressive level of detail that makes every moment feel more cinematic. On top of that, the lighting, textures, and environmental effects create a unique atmosphere of discovery. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle proves that great graphics aren't only about visual effects, they're also about transporting players into another world. And this is definitely one of the most beautiful and immersive experiences you can find on PS5. And to finish off today's list, we have 007 First Light, a game that delivers one of the most impressive versions of the James Bond universe ever seen in gaming. IO Interactive successfully brought the essence of the franchise into a modern experience, with stylish locations, cinematic action sequences, and a level of detail that perfectly matches the world of 007. Every mission captures the feeling of being part of a massive spy movie. The biggest visual highlights are the environments, characters, and cinematic presentation. The facial animations, lighting, explosions, and action scenes help create an incredibly immersive experience, making every moment feel like a scene straight from a movie. 007 First Light is the perfect way to close this list, showing that PS5 is still capable of delivering incredible visual experiences. With stunning graphics, a true spy atmosphere, and a blockbuster presentation, it's a great example of what this generation can achieve. And that was our list for today. Now I want to know, which one of these games has the most impressive graphics in your opinion? And did we miss any games that deserve to be here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.